One Manchester United striker transfer target says no. Well, that opens the door for a possibility and an opportunity for Chido Obi Martin from Manchester United's academy. Going to go into that report, get your thoughts on that. Is it time United just twisted on the academy players and put them in instead? If we are not going to get anything out of the first team players and they are refusing to train, then should we not just promote them and see? Is it a worst case scenario right now? Is that they just get some experience, but we get a little bit more effort, and the fans can have a bit of a connection again. I'm going to talk about all of that. I've got a little bit of a left field option for you as well for Manchester United's January transfer window. It's a total left field one, and I want to get your thoughts on this, so stay tuned towards the back end of the show for that one as well. More transfer updates as well. Obviously, I want to get into the main part of the striker options for Manchester United on the transfer situation today. There is a little bit of an update on Edison from Atalanta as well I want to talk about. The situation between Rashford and Ruben Amorim, what was going on at Carrington, Rashford's meeting, is it the same as it was with Jadon Sancho? It's a completely different story apparently. I'll get into details on that, and of course, more importantly, I want to get your input, I want to get your opinions on everything going on. But we are starting on, well, it's a mix between Victor Osimhen and Obi Martin from Manchester United's academy. An opportunity as arose, and there is a story going around that Manchester United on Ruben Amorim could in fact promote Obi Martin into Manchester United's first team at some point this season. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. That's going off the reports, what I know, people I've spoken to. Let's not forget, we have got a world record breaking, Premier League record breaking under 18 striker in our ranks, who is averaging a goal every 50 minutes in performances right now in the under 18s. He is just on a different level to everybody else. I think he's 6'2" plus, built already. He is a bit of a beast. He's fast, he's strong. You know all the attributes. You'd have seen the clips, you'd have seen the social media posts, you'd have seen this lad doing extra training at Altrincham, and everything that has been spoken about, everything that has been said is real, and it is the genuine deal with him. I just don't think Manchester United had the pathway set out for him to do it. But like I said at the top of the show, needs must. What will Manchester United do if they cannot get another striker in January? If we're going to loan Joshua Zirkzee out, United need options. And I'm going to tell you my left field one, like I said, a little bit later in this show. But Obi Martin right now, obviously, when you look at his stats, his record, when it comes to that table of academy players and goal-scoring records, he's top of that list. No one is going to get anywhere near him. He's still 17 now. The only way that anyone will get near him is because he stopped playing in the under-18s because he's already been promoted to the first team. That's the only way. He's miles ahead of everybody. In fact, I think he's about 7 goals ahead of Mason Greenwood, and we all know the record that Mason Greenwood had in Manchester United's youth academy level. Left foot, right foot, scoring goals from everywhere. Obviously, we've seen how well Mason Greenwood is doing. Besides the personal life and issues, we had a real talent on our hands right there. And it has been proven before that talent can come through and salvage something. That talent, when it's nurtured and comes through with the right instruction and the right, let's just say, atmosphere and culture, which isn't really there right now, which is the only concern on this one and why I don't want to thrust him right in. Let's see what happens in January. I think that's the vibe. I think that's the talk right now. Let's see who leaves. Let's see if Rashford's situation is rectified. Will Joshua Zirkzee still be here? Obviously, we know we need forwards anyway because we're lacking in number 9s. We've got one. Zirkzee goes, we need someone else in. It's as simple as that. And right now, Manchester United are out of options, it would seem. There is no one out there, apart from maybe a desperate loan signing again in the likes of Wout Weghorst or that category of player, which we don't want to be going anywhere near, to be honest, and not looking to spend any more money on wages for a player that is going to be of that quality. I don't think any of us are going to go anywhere near it for obvious reasons, like we spoke in the last 2 shows about the cost cutting and what Ineos are doing to Manchester United right now. There's no way that they're going to bring anyone in unless it's prospering Ruben Amorim, and it's going to be someone who's going to have an impact. So you look to the academy. The reason we're talking about this is because there is a story going around, and it's not so much a story, it's Victor Osimhen himself has come out and spoken regarding his where he's at and where his transfer situation is at. So obviously, the rumours arrived that Manchester United could trigger the release clause for Victor Osimhen. The only way that United could have got Osimhen through in January is with a player going the opposite way. Now, we heard about Zirkzee, we heard about Marcus Rashford. Now, Napoli have completely poo-pooed both of them options. Like Rashford, they're going nowhere near. Rashford is a major problem for Manchester United right now. It does look like, with the reports that are out and what everybody's saying, the wages are just absolutely killing the deal. Like his demands and what he expects he's leaving Manchester United in a ridiculous position right now. And I think he's really testing to the resolve of Ineos, because if they don't act on this, if they don't do something, and then they leave Ruben Amorim with Marcus Rashford because they haven't been able to do something, it's just putting pure amounts of pressure onto the head coach, and everybody will look at this as a backward step. Everyone will look at this, and he could actually say that Rashford's come back in, he's sat down with Ruben Amorim, everything's okay, they've made up, and Rashford wants to put the effort in. I think there's too much water that's gone under the bridge right now. Just them comments alone that Rashford said in that interview last season. If you back me, good. If you don't, better. And look where we're at right now. Everything that he has done in his career in Manchester United over the last year, I just think the fan base is done with him. I really do. And it would be awkward for Ruben Amorim, to say the least. How Ineos rectify it, I don't know. But Osimhen, going back to him, he has said in an interview that he is committed to Galatasaray. He's at Galatasaray till the end of the season, and then he will deal with everything then. So Osimhen himself really isn't going to move. He doesn't want to move. Napoli won't accept a swap deal. Manchester United can't afford to trigger that release clause anyway, because we haven't got the money. And that deal is now dead in the water until the summer. Well, until the summer. I don't want to say dead in the water to put everyone off and just dampen the mood a little bit even more. But no, Osimhen will not be coming to Manchester United in January, sadly. For us, in our desperate need for a striker, that avenue has been blockaded, and Osimhen and Napoli have pretty much nailed that coffin shut for us, I'm afraid. We're not getting him in. And you know what? You look at that and it makes sense. Like for him, if you're talking to him and you're asking him the question, he's happy in Galatasaray. He's absolutely tearing it up. He's probably going to get more medals. He's probably going to be successful. And I think he's happy to stay there. Why wouldn't you? Why would you want to come into the melee that is Manchester United? He's enjoying his life over in Turkey, and I think he's just openly said, look, he's happy to stay in Galatasaray, and that's why he moved there in the summer. Why Manchester United weren't in on that sort of loan deal for the season, God knows. I don't know where the recruitment team was in trying to make that deal happen, but still, we went with Xerxes, and it's backfired on us. So that's the situation we're left with Osimhen, which obviously automatically opens the doors to Manchester United's academy. And the one name, like we just said then, Obi Martin, he will have an impact on Manchester United's first team sooner or later. It just looks like now he's been pushed into the sooner bracket, and we have got a player there. There are other players in Manchester United's academy right now that are tearing it up. Like Biancherev, Ibrahimov, you've got Scanlon as well. He's more of a wide player, but again, like, could he work in that 10 role? Honestly, like, you just don't know. You don't know. All you can do is listen to the academy staff. All you can do is listen to people who are in there and amongst it at Manchester United and see what they say. Until the player actually steps foot on the pitch, you've got Wheatley there as well. You just don't know. And that's what Manchester United are up against right now. That's where United, I feel, are going to struggle, because the expectation level is so high. And that, realistically, is what stops Manchester United's progress going forward. It's what stops these academy players prospering and coming into a team that really should be doing well, but isn't. And then you're expecting this kid to save us again. You're going straight down the road of Alejandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo all over again. That's where you're going. And you're hoping that Ruben Amorim could be different. You're hoping that some senior players are gone. The atmosphere has changed. The pecking order has changed at Manchester United. But still, they're all going to be in and amongst it. And they're all going to be in and around the same environment. Is that off-putting for these young players coming through? Well, we know about Kakonki making his first team training session debuts under Ruben Amorim and featuring with the Manchester United first team squad there. Possibilities there. I do actually believe that Ruben Amorim didn't want to go anywhere near the Manchester United academy. We've talked about that before. The academy lads right now have got nowhere near Manchester United's first team in the first 10 games that Ruben Amorim has been here. He's had his first team squad all available, and he is utilising every single player. He said himself that he's getting very close to figuring out what his best side is. And then if you want to bring an academy player in now, then he needs to be protected. I just fear for them. I really do. Because like last night, we were talking about Garnacho. We were talking about Kobe Mainu. One season, fall off. That's the concern right now. We cannot... I personally don't think we can be bringing in the likes of Obi Martin into this melee. I would like to see what happens in January and then maybe reassess it in February when the games obviously ease off. That is obviously... if Manchester United do beat Rangers in that Europa League game at Old Trafford in a couple of weeks' time, that will pretty much just cement Manchester United into the knockout phases, as we've said, and we can move on from there. Rest players then, a bit more training time for Ruben Amorim, and he can get a closer look at it. That being as well, with January done, and maybe some players moved on, and a few issues rectified. Right now we're looking at it. I can't believe I'm saying it, but we're actually looking at writing off January pretty much in the Premier League. Like, we've got a game against Southampton at home. I expect us to beat Southampton. We have to beat Southampton. But the other games you really are fearing, like Brighton, I think will beat us. Obviously, we've got Liverpool, we've got Arsenal in the FA Cup mixed in with that as well. I do look at them fixtures and go, January does look a little bit difficult for Manchester United. Quickly, I'm going to come into the chat before we move on because there is a bit more to touch on this. But on the academy players right now, are you an in or are you an out? Would you bring them in just to have a bit of a different look? Or do you feel like it's unfair on the players to bring them into this now to try and bail out another group of first team players at Manchester United? Is Ruben Amorim doing it right in giving these first team players the time on the pitch so everybody can see them for what they really are? That's the question I want to ask the chat. Let's get straight in. Super chat, first of all, from You Got Rawls. Thank you, buddy. If they can get what they paid for Zirkzee minus the half year he has been under contract with us and break even, you go for that. I don't like the odds of an Italian club not lowballing us, though. We will get lowballed and we will get stung. But it comes down to a point now with Zirkzee. Just to answer that one quickly, mate. If you get 20 million for Zirkzee, I think you've got to take it. You're going to have to take the loss. You are. I think we'll get more. I think Ineos will get more out of this. I think it will be in the loan with obligation territory, though. I don't think anybody in Italy is spending 30 million in January on Joshua Zirkzee. 20 million even on Joshua Zirkzee. It's going to be loan with obligation to buy, and how much that obligation is, well, that's what Ineos will negotiate in, of course. And that ultimately is why Manchester United right now are struggling to find anybody in the January transfer market to come in and help Ruben Amorim out. It's a problem that we've got. I thought Rashford was looking forward to a new challenge, i.e. living on less money. Yeah, no, definitely not blind. Abyss says, what is this rubbish I am hearing about Rashford potentially being back in the squad tonight? Tell me this isn't true. Look, I don't know yet. I've not read anything in detail on Marcus Rashford being back in the squad, but this is the problem now that Ruben Amorim has got. Obviously, something went down the day before yesterday. Rashford was seen leaving Carrington with his entourage. Last time he was in this sort of situation with his entourage or his people or his representatives, however you want to call them, it was to talk about what happened after the Belfast incident and how much he let Ruben Amorim, Erik ten Hag down. And he went in then with Dwayne, his agents. He went in full bore. He needed everyone around him to support him. Maybe it's happened all over again. A year on, funnily enough, from that pretty much, because that was in January, wasn't it, in 2024. Pretty much a year on, we're in the same situation with Marcus Rashford again, where he's now in trying to apologise and make up with the manager. And you know what? I don't know. I don't know is the answer to it in terms of Rashford being back in the squad yet. We will find out as the day goes on. Obviously, we'll have you covered on match day as well today with all of the content leading up to the game as well. So, and of course, we will be there with our reactions after the game. So it's, I don't know. It's up to Ruben. If Ruben feels like Rashford has trained well, he'll probably be in the squad. I don't think an apology or settling something out in a meeting room is going to cut it with Ruben. So I think the circumstances are different. So right now I look at it, Marcus Rashford, even if he comes in and apologises, what's he apologising for? Ruben Amorim's already said that there's no discipline. It's just his attitude in training. So let's see if Rashford wants to pull his finger out and actually start training. We'll see, won't we? We will see in time. And all will be revealed later on today when the team starts to be leaked out. Or, well, about 3 or 4 hours before kickoff when we see the players arriving, I think we will know. So I'm guessing mid-afternoon is when we're going to know if Rashford's back in the squad. Newcastle are very physical. Players like Joe Linton and Guimaraes. The youngsters might be knocked around like ping pong. I don't think they're going to come in tonight. I'm not saying the youngsters are going to come in tonight. I'm saying later on down the line. They're definitely going to be nowhere near the squad, I don't think, in January anyway. It's too soon. Replace them with the under-18s. At least they will be willing to put a shift in. Again, like, it's to the detriment of their progress, though, isn't it? They should be coming in and working alongside senior players who are playing, who are being professional, who are role models to these younger players coming through. And there is nothing there. There is no one there that you would want any of our United Academy players to come in and model themselves on right now, is there, in that Manchester United first team? It is a scary thought knowing that we've got Newcastle tonight without Manuel Ugarte as well. And like the comment says there, that physical factor. I want to see Bayern Kerry, Obi Martin and Ennis can't do worse than the current overpriced players. I think we should play them against Southampton. Remember, you don't win anything with kids, says Brendan. All of these comments coming in. What about Xerxes salary? He ain't worth that in Italy. No, he isn't. And that's another problem United have got to get past as well. Absolutely, we have no alternative, Adam, in terms of the strikers and the academy players coming through. Couple of super chats to get through. First one from WJ Barrett. I'm happy for Amorim to expose these players for who they are. Get rid of the bad apples this January. Get jam fixtures out the way and integrate the youth. I think a lot of people would like that to happen, but again, easier said than done. Cheers for that, though. I would love that to happen. But you got Ross with another super chat. Says, what are the odds on Casemiro in, Collier in as a backup six? I don't know if he's going to go defensive. I don't know which way he's going to go with the team this evening. I really haven't got a clue. By the way, everybody, we are 17 subscribers away from 68,000. We could actually get that while we're live today. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button. Let's continue the journey. Everybody be part of it. Subscribe, get into the live chat. Please give the video a like as well. We're just creeping up to the 150 mark. I'm sure with nearly 1,300 people in the room, that should be a bit higher. So let's get them up as well. Thank you. We should have tried Kovar and Alvaro Fernandez from the academy instead of selling them. Let's take a chance. Yeah, imagine that. Like, honestly, Ten Hag, wow. And what he did and what he left Ruben Amorim with, and the players that could have still been here as well as the players that we've actually got. He has undone Manchester United big time. Adam, at least the team didn't come out last night. In terms of being leaked out. I think they're going to start. I think the team leaks are going to start to ease up a little bit now, I think. Don't let Rashford play. He'll get injured, so we can't sell him, says Block. That's a concern, actually, isn't it, as well? When you look at it, like, if you are looking at selling anybody in January, are you going to risk playing them? That's another thing you have to sort of consider in all of this. Are you going to take that gamble in playing players right now when you think you could get rid of them in January? It's an interesting one. It really is. I'm going to talk about the Newcastle game in a minute as well, a little bit, because I'm going to do more of that later. But my left field option for everybody, and you may laugh at this, you may think I'm being stupid, but Manchester United have a striker in Joe Hugill out on loan at Wigan at the moment. Yes, League One, scored 5 goals, 1 assist. He's been mainly used as a substitute at Wigan, and that's what I want to put across. Like, you've got a striker there that I think he's 21, he's filled out, he's mature, he's been playing, he's been getting first team game time. Do you know what? Just someone in the box. Someone you can put a cross into. Someone to bring on for 10, 15 minutes. Is it not worth bringing someone like Joe Hugill back from loan just to put in Manchester United's matchday squad? Let him get 10, 15 minutes here and there, maybe even 5 minutes when we need to get a goal at the end of the game. This is a player that will get in the 6-yard box and will put his head on something. He's brilliant in the air. and he has got an eye for goal. I think if you give him chances, Joe Hugill will take them chances. I would rather him running through on goal than Joshua Zirkzee running through on goal. That's all I'm saying. You may think I'm crazy. You may think that I'm just being far out there just to get comments on this, but I would actually consider bringing Joe Hugill back as an option for Manchester United in the matchday squad. Someone to put on later on in the game when Rasmus has run his ass off and he hasn't done anything else. Let's just put someone in the box that we can put a cross into that's actually going to cause a little bit of danger. That's how I see it. I would just, if you cannot find a striker and you need another option, the academy is there, but maybe the young level of the academy isn't there. You've got Joe Hugill at 21, who has been out on loan everywhere. If you are going to loan someone in, don't bother if they're not the right quality. Bring someone in that isn't going to cost you anything, that could give you 10, 15 minutes and maybe just get their head on something. Sounds desperate. I know. Sounds like I'm just putting that name out there for the sake of it. I'm not, honestly. Like, if you could get that a little bit of time and he could give Rasmus 15-minute rest, 20-minute rest, and all you did then was just hit them wings and cross the ball in when you needed to, and like Ruben says, a bit of momentum. Manchester United are crap from crosses. They're crap on corners. We don't have anyone who's going to put their head on it. Joe will. He will get himself inside that 6-yard box, and you just don't know. There's always something there that you can do and change, and there is something there that's different. A bit of old-fashioned football and crossing it in. Look at how many teams do that. Look what Newcastle do with Isaac with that as well. Gordon will either go down a wing, whip a cross in, or cut in and shoot. He's got both options there. But because they've got someone in the box they know will get their head on something, they do cross the ball more. They know they've got that option now that gives them confidence to go down the line or cut in. It's not as easy to defend against because you don't know how the player's going to play in front of you, that being the opposition, for them and Manchester United coming on to them. Like, it's, do you know what? It's there, isn't it? An option. I would rather bring him back to Manchester United. Someone with experience at that level. It's going to cost us nothing. And yes, he's probably not the right standard of player. And you can argue that point. But just hear me out on that. Like, someone who could just come off the bench is what United need right now. So just change things. And Manchester United conceding all these goals from set pieces. And the momentum completely changed. Because let's be honest, the possession's been level. The chances created has been level in pretty much all these games we've lost. We just don't take our chances. And all of a sudden the opposition score from a corner or a set piece. And our heads drop. Maybe it's time we actually scored a goal and changed the momentum of a game. Or got lucky from a cross. Or just played some old school football instead of trying to pass the ball into the bleeding net. Do you know what I mean? I just think that we should be looking a little bit left field with that. And we have got options there to change things up. And yes, I would rather have Joe Hugill on the bench than Zirkzee or Rashford right now. Crazy, innit? A League One player. Well, he's not. He's an academy player that's been loaned out the last 3 years. Has he not got enough experience? Give him a chance. Can it be any worse? That's all I'm saying. Super chat from Fanui Pat. I think that's how you say that. I don't think we need any breeding. Kone and Obi Martin strong enough. Let them start to increase competition. I watched lots of highlights from the under-18s matches. They are good enough. Kobe, I mean, in terms of Kone, he's hardly played, mate. So I've been at all his matches that he started. He's not ready, and he's injured anyway, so he can't come in just yet. But Kone is definitely not ready. So he will be, and he will be a good player. I'm pretty certain he will, but he's still finding his feet. Obi Martin, on the other hand, different ball game. But you've got Wheatley there. Could he not come through and give us an option? You've got Hugill, like I said. Bring him back from loan at Wigan. Call him back in January. Make it happen. Do you know what? It's there, isn't it? Sometimes you just need some old-fashioned striker up there, don't you? Just to give you another option. But yeah, it sounds a little bit... Sounds a bit crazy, sounds a bit left field, but let's be honest. Like, what are our options right now? We're not going to be able to bring a striker in. We've got no money. And we're struggling to move on the players that we want to move on. And we're in a hole. Do you know what? What have we got to lose? There you go, straight away. Abyss. Joe Hugill isn't good enough. I personally think that's a terrible shout. Well, you can talk about terrible shout, but Zirkzee's not good enough. Rashford's not good enough. Mount is injured. We haven't got any money to spend. We haven't got anywhere else to go. So maybe you thinking he's not good enough from what he's done elsewhere? Harry Kane didn't score many goals when he was on loan from Spurs, but then came into the Spurs side and started scoring goals. You don't know if he's not good enough because he hasn't been given a chance in the first team. That's what I'll say. Oh yeah, by the way, when he did get put in the first team in pre-season, he scored the best goal in pre-season as well for United. So yeah, not a crazy shout, really, is it? Director of Football, the level of the EPL is way too high due to the amount of money available to all of the teams from TV rights. Every team can buy high-quality European talent. You can't play too many young players at once. No, you can't. I'm looking at one position and one position only right now, and that is up front. Just to see. It's the hardest position on the pitch as well. I get it. And I understand people shouting down just the shout of Wheatley or Hugill or any of the academy players coming in. Right now, what we've got to look at is just a little bit of life being fed into this side. Something a little bit different. I think that's what we've got to look at. Keep your comments coming in. I'm coming into all of them now. Let's bring back Carrick for the midfield while we're at it. Honestly, like you're making it sound like it's a completely ridiculous shout, but he's a player on United's books as much as every one of these first team players right now. So why is it any different? That's what I say. The issue we have is we got lots of short players and can never defend a corner at this rate. I now wonder why we sold Scott McTominay. We sold him to bring in Manuel Ugarte. And we can't really complain about Manuel Ugarte, can we? Thanks for that, Fanui, for the super chat again, buddy. We can't really complain about Manuel Ugarte because he has been brilliant for us, hasn't he? So I honestly feel like United right now are... I don't feel like we are in a position to bring the youth academy players in. I don't want that to happen. But we're in a hole. And what I'm going to talk about next pretty much tells us exactly where we're at in terms of the league and the game tonight. Morning, brother. I hope to see you at Old Trafford later. Rashford times Igalo swap in January. Yeah, bring Igalo back. Yeah, I'll be there later if anyone is there. No, by the way, 3 subscribers away from 68k, everybody. Get subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video. 1,400 in the room with us right now. Only 200 likes. Surely they should be up near at least 400 right now. Come on, everyone. Play your part. I have just said that Manchester United should bring back Joe Hugill from Wigan on loan as a striker option on United's bench. Shout me down. Call me out. Do whatever you want to do. I just think that United need to be thinking outside the box right now. No Mount. Garnacho's not doing it. Rashford's out of the squad. Xerxes isn't good enough as a 9. Højlund can't do it on his own. Ahmad is doing everything for everybody. Maybe just something different is all I'm saying. That's it. An option. A target man. Do you know what? Honestly, I can understand why everyone would go in on me on that one. But still, where United are at right now, the game against Newcastle tonight kind of tells you the whole situation. Now, looking at the league table... United could actually be moving up to 11th in the league. Ooh, yes, 11th. Get excited, everybody. We're nearly back at mid-table football again. But nobody expects United to win. So tonight, really, if these players want to prove my point stupid that we should be looking at bringing Joe Hugill back in, let's just look at it in what we're doing right now. Manchester United's players tonight will either... say that they are looking at them European places, as in the Europa League and Conference League, or confirm that they're in a relegation fight. If we lose tonight, we are 100%. I think we are in one now, to be honest, when you look at the table, with Crystal Palace 2 points behind us. I mean, that should tell you everything. Like, start ringing them alarm bells, because Newcastle tonight, we lose that, we're fully in the relegation battle. It's as simple as that. And then you've got Liverpool. We're not going to win that. I mean, seriously, they've got 3 of their best players that want to leave, and they're still smashing teams 5-0. That's the difference, and that's the level that we're up against. I actually fear Manchester United could go on full-on stinkfest mode and try and get a 0-0 at Anfield, or it could be a 7-0. I could really see that happening all over again. It's scary. We just hit 68k. Absolute mega. Thank you, everybody. 68,000 subscribers in the bag while live. I think we've done the next 1,000 on our subscriber counts every time live in the last 5 that we've done. From 63k up to 68. We've been live while we've hit the next 1,000. So I love that. Thank you, everybody. Brilliant stuff. Great effort. But get back to me in the comments as well on tonight a little bit. So is the Osimhen rumour true? Are we really into him? It'll be a good one if it was a question. Do we have enough to pay for him? No. The deal is right now Osimhen is not coming in January. I said it at the top of the show. I said that Manchester United would want him. They can't afford him. They wanted to swap Xerxes or Rashford. Napoli don't want that to happen. And Xerxes has come out and said that Manchester United... Osimhen has come out and said that he wants to stay at Galatasaray till the end of the year. So if Osimhen was to come in, it would be in the summer. He's not coming any sooner. He's not coming in January. That's never going to happen. So that's where we're at with that. Well, yeah, back to tonight. Actually, let's get some comments first. Let's change the borders instead. They don't want to leave, mate. They want a new contract. Get your facts right. I don't know who he's talking to there. That might be a conversation with someone else in the chat. Players anyway. Jonathan, great. In years to come, I can call my grandchildren. I was there when Man United entered the relegation battle. Yeah. Oh God. Prime of his life, worth 120 million 12 months ago. Now hiding in Turkey, worth half of that. Compost Smith not liking Osimhen. I think people just need to read into the actual real story as to why he left Napoli and what really went down, because it wasn't what a lot of people were actually thinking. But hey, look. We'd rather keep Rashford. Some people. I'm only joking. Don't shoot me down. I'm only joking. But that's the situation we're in. Like, I would take Osimhen in a heartbeat. Get into this club an actual striker that can score goals and is dynamic, fast, quick, strong. Is everything basically that we need right now. So yeah, I would take him, but again, not coming until the summer, if at all. 1 year left on his contract as well. Manchester United should be all over that, definitely. But, yeah, tonight we're looking at Manchester United either cementing their place in the relegation battle or we move up the table to 11th. And we are, I think it's... If we move up to 11th, I think we're around about 4 or 6 points away from the European places, that being the Europa League and the European Conference League. To be honest, we'd rather have that than relegation, wouldn't we? But I think a lot of Manchester United fans now are accepting of the results that are coming, which is a concern. Real concern, actually, that United's fan base is in a position right now where they're going into this game tonight against Newcastle thinking that we're probably going to lose. We don't see these players turning it around. And that, I think, is... That's like the biggest confirmation that Manchester United are really falling away, that United are going to be battling relegation this season rather than battling for European places. Honestly, like the fall off, and we've spoke about it many times over all of the shows, tonight against Newcastle, I think will be a horrible atmosphere if it goes wrong. I can fully see Manchester United fans emptying the stadium. I can see fans leaving early. If things are not going right, I can hear boos. Look, Manchester United may dig in tonight and may get a result. And it's what's needed. They need to give, and this is the whole rallying cry from the club right now, they need to give something back to the fans. And this is what worries me. It's like, go out there tonight, and this is what always happens with Manchester United, and the problem that I've got with it, go out there tonight and give something back to the fans in one game. No. We should be looking at the game tonight and going, right, we need to win this, we need to win the next one, we need to move on, we need to start moving up that table, and that only happens if we're more consistent. But what United will do, they win the derby. That's all right, that's for the fans. It's great, something back for the fans. And the players will all come out and say it. But what about Liverpool? What about Arsenal? You cannot just win one game and then just fall off again. And this is what will send Manchester United down. It's just playing for these one moments, these occasions. Everyone, the last game of the game week, United against Newcastle. The cameras are on Old Trafford under the floodlights, big atmosphere. Yes, everyone walks out of Old Trafford. We've got something out of the game. We've played well. Boom, straight back down to earth. We get beat by Liverpool and Arsenal. And you're straight back to where you was right now. After the City game, 3 defeats in a row. We beat Newcastle, 3 defeats in a row. You cannot just win one and build yourself up to win one game. This is the mentality of this squad at the moment. So this is the problem I've got. Where I want United to win tonight, I want to still see United playing the Ruben Amorim way and understanding the system, and then having confidence again with that system going into the next game and maybe implementing a bit of that at Anfield. It's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a tough game. It really is. I just don't want people thinking, right, let's just get the win tonight so that just gives us the opportunity and the space to lose at Liverpool. I can't handle that mentality. Tonight I want to see United perform. I want to see us perform on the pitch and get a win. I don't want to just see this last-ditch clinging on to a win sort of victory again, because that's not going to give us anything going into the next 2 games. You cannot continuously play that way and survive. You're not going to be able to do that against Liverpool, Arsenal, even Brighton at home that's coming up. Southampton will probably fancy their chances at Old Trafford as well when they play us on the 16th of January, I think. So this is the problem that we've got right now. No Bruno tonight, no Agate tonight. The midfield, I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be some form of makeshift one that probably isn't the best for Ruben Amorim and how he wants to play. But big concerns about what happens at Old Trafford tonight, definitely. Super chat in from the Financial says, our fan base is too toxic to be playing 16-year-old players. When they have a bad game, they will be getting abused by the keyboard warriors. This is what Manchester United have to deal with, and this is what they have to train into these players to deal with as well. Unfortunately, right now, there is a clamour for the academy players to come through because the first team players are dead. But what you said there in the super chat is dead right. Look what's happening to Garnacho. Look what's happening to Kobbie Mainoo right now. Years in. 18 months in for Garnacho pretty much as a first team player. A year in for Kobbie Mainoo now as a first team player. And look at what's going on social media. Look at what's going on amongst the United fan base and what they're talking about. This is why I didn't want the younger players coming in right now. This is why I said, look, let's not look at Obi Martin yet until everything's been dealt with in January. Let's let him progress for another couple of months in the academy. Let's bring back Joe Hugill, 21-year-old, who is a bit more hardened to normal first-team football, just as an option. You know, let's save our academy players, our proper academy players, the young ones, the teenagers, and maybe bring in them fringe ones that are a bit older and more filled out. Let's not forget, like, Hugill's got 4 years of development on top of Obi Martin. He's got that much more experience, and he isn't the best player, I know. But is he any worse than what Joshua Zirkzee is? No, he's not. He really isn't. And that's what I'm saying. It's another option there that's not going to cost United anything. And look, if Joe Hugill was going to be a standout player for Man United, he would have already been in the first team. We know that. We know he's not probably going to make it at United. But right now, in needs must moments, you need a player in that number 9 position who's going to work his ass off, who's going to give us an option, who's going to be a lot stronger than what we've got in that team. So maybe it's the way we should be going. Should we expect De Ligt starting today? Super chat from Fanui. Yes, I think De Ligt will be back in the side, thankfully. Be interesting to see who the captain is tonight as well. Ruben is flying the plane whilst building it at the same time with no tools, Baz says. Yeah, it's pretty much. Guy says, I was regular on the Stretford end when we were relegated, and believe me, this side we have now couldn't lace the boots of the players in that team. That was sent down. A few people have said that. The worrying stats about when United were down or were sent down compared to where we're at right now. I'm sure I said it yesterday. Manchester United are, I think, 6 points worse off than what Blackpool were at the same stage of the season when they got sent down. And I think there's 3 other teams in the Premier League era that were sent down with more points than what Manchester United have got right now. Look, it's tight. And the teams in that bottom 3 are not a million miles away from United. And if you look at the next 2 games, you look at Newcastle, you look at Liverpool. If we lose them 2, And one of them teams in the bottom, say Wolves, for instance, who have pulled 4 points back on us in the last 2 games, start to get more points. In fact, when you look at, I'm just going to bring up the table on my screen right now, just to go over it and just see how close everyone actually is. I mean, you look at us right now in 14th, 22 points minus 3. Crystal Palace, 20 points in 15th, 2 points behind us. That's scary on its own. Everton, in good form. Yes, beaten by Forest yesterday. But if Everton win a game, and we've got Everton coming up soon at Goodison Park, if Everton win a game, then they're only 2 points behind us. And they're in 16th. Wolves picking up points. They're only, right now, 7 points behind us. A win for them brings us into 4 points. You can see where I'm going with it. Our form is just as bad, if not as worse. Like, our form right now is as level with Ipswich, who are second bottom in the table. We are only 2 points better off than Southampton on the form table right now, who are bottom of the table. 3 points better than Leicester, who are in the relegation zone as well. Wolves are in better form than us. Everton are in better form than us. Crystal Palace are in better form than us. And they're all below us, the next 3 teams that are separating us from the relegation zone. You need to realise where we're actually at right now and what's happening. A loss tonight to Newcastle. Manchester United's, honestly, it is an embarrassment right now. An absolute embarrassment. Now you've got West Ham, who are on minus 12 goal difference. Lost 8 games in the league. And they have scored more goals than us and are above us in the league. Do you know what? That there. Wow. Actually, just had some news come through right now. Right, okay. Let me just bring this up. It's on tonight's team, actually, a little bit. Marcus Rashford is out of the squad for today's game. Amorim is not satisfied with his commitment in training, and the decision is not to include him in the matchday squad. That's come out from X, that one. United_forever7, who has got some team news correct recently. There you go, straight away. When you're looking at that game, Jesus. I mean, if Rashford is out of another squad, then honestly, I've lost all hope. Like, what is he even at Manchester United for? This is going on 4 weeks now. So Rashford hasn't been asked for a month. In our hour of need, you're looking at Ruben Amorim looking at everything. This is a coach that understands the fans. In fact, you've seen the video of him with that kid and taking him on a little drive tour around Carrington in his car. He was waiting outside Carrington. Ruben Amorim put him in his car with permission from his parents, obviously, and then drove him back into Carrington and took him through a little tour around Carrington. I forgot that was there, but I just wanted to mention that because in the midst of all the negativity, we have got a man that understands this fan base running us. We have got a man that actually gets what these fans are feeling right now. Brilliant from Amorim there. But in our hour of need, your most senior player can't be asked training. Honestly, like the words that I've used to describe Marcus Rashford before, I've got nothing left. There isn't any worse I can go. He's already at the bottom of the barrel. And I say it at the start of the show, didn't I, when I said that interview with the Player Tribune when Rashford came out. And there were some people backing him at that moment. When he came out with that comment there, when he said, if you back me, good. If you don't, better. Oh, mate. Oh, seriously. The fall off from that's where we're at right now. That's your most senior player. You've got our captain, who has lost the plot in Bruno Fernandes. Don't know what he's doing. Getting red cards every bleeding other week at the moment. Ill discipline. You've got our most senior player in Marcus Rashford, who can't be asked training. Our brightest academy player in Garnacho kicking up a stink, who's clearly got a problem with Ruben Amorim. You got Tyrell Malacia, who's been out for 18 months, and you'd have thought wanted to just play football, who has now fallen short of Ruben Amorim's system and not putting the right amount of effort in. You've got the players that you would hope Ruben Amorim could get in the side that he likes, that just cannot get fit, in Luke Shaw and Mason Mount. And you've got the signings that Erik ten Hag made in the summer that really are not helping Ruben Amorim in his system at all. Oh yeah, and tonight, just to throw it into the mix, you've got his best midfielder out suspended, and God knows what's going on with Casemiro right now and why he can't get in the side. Is that more issues behind the scene? God, seriously, like, we've got a lot to get through. We're going to have more later on as well. I'll be back live later Obviously, it's late kickoff tonight, so we'll have another show probably going off all of the news around about midday. And then we're going to be looking into the road trip going into Old Trafford, and all of the reaction from the stadium as well. So if you are there tonight, make sure you come over and say hello. I'll be out and about outside the East Stand probably an hour before the game or something like that, 45 minutes. Come and say hello. Come and see us outside. We'll be talking and chatting for about 30 minutes outside the stadium as well after the game in the usual spot. If you know it, you know it. But it'll be an interesting one tonight. It really will. Honestly, I can't even put a prediction on it. I really can't. But that is it for now. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody. We did surpass the 68,000 subscriber mark while we were live. We are now on the road to 69k. I said I wanted to get as many subscribers as close to 70k before the end of the year, and we are less than 2,000 away now. We have had a mega effort in December alone. Absolutely love you all. Don't forget, the transfer window opens in 2 days' time, and FUTV will have you covered with every single little tiny bit of news, even the big news, which I don't think we're going to get, but we're hoping anyway. I think United will be busy. It's going to be really interesting to see how Manchester United handle the Marcus Rashford situation. So make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you've got your bell notifications on. There is going to be news every single day in the transfer window. I guarantee it. And we'll have you covered. But for now, thank you. I will see you all later on. Enjoy your morning. Enjoy your breakfast, whatever you're up to. And yeah, like the video on the way out as well.